Hi friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel once again, Vish-O-Pedia. And today I've got again Liam with me. So we're gonna talk about meditation today. In this video, I'm gonna ask questions about experiences which Liam has gone through when he was doing meditation, and we'll have a little session of question and answers. So if he has any question, he can ask me and I can answer it. Okay, so let's start. So let's get back to meditation.
Yep.
So tell me this. So you started meditation a year ago, right?
Yep.
Almost a year ago.
Yep.
So after doing meditation, once you were introduced to meditation, what were the changes came in your life? Like what changes did you make?
I ended up quitting smoking.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped eating meat. I didn't do anything like I stopped drinking alcohol. Not that I did it as much, but you know,
Mm-hmm.
I stopped it completely. Like that was it, no more. Like it definitely turned around a positive impact in the sense of that it was, like my brain became a bit more focused, become a bit more calm in situations. You don't have to actually feel as, anxious or like fearful of things. You sort of become a bit more open-minded.
Okay, so when you said that you quit eating meat, alcohol, is it really necessary to quit it?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like because I was actually going through the process of when I actually did start meditation, I didn't actually quit smoking. I think until maybe a week or two after that, and I noticed that when you do smoking, when you do meditate, when you do inhale, like as I was doing focus on your breathing, you notice a difference with feeling your actual inhale and exhaling. So it does sort of affect it in that sense, and eating meat does play a part in it. And while I actually stopped, I'm pretty sure I stopped eating meat during the time that I actually started doing meditation. I think it might have been like a week or so before that I actually made the choice to stop eating it. And that was just because I was on a decline with meat over the course of the year, where I just didn't feel like it was sitting right with my body was sort of like telling me, this you shouldn't eat, this needs to go.
Oh, okay. So do you think that if you were still eating meat and you were doing meditation, it would have made any impact, or how do you feel? Like, do you feel different when you stopped eating meat, or did you felt like, oh, where I'm going to get my protein now?
Actually, there was definitely the where am I going to get my protein now from, but then there was I'd rather have eat less protein than sort of take it from an animal that had no choice in being alive. That kind of like doesn't sit right with me that we do that.
See,
that's just a personal opinion.
This is the thing, that people have a misconception that if you'll not eat meat, you won't get protein. Nowadays, it's clinically proven that if you go plant-based protein, it is much better for your body.
Yep.
Right? When you eat meat, our intestine is very, very long. It's like 5 to 6 times the size of our own body, which means that when you eat something, especially meat, it takes longer for meat to be digested inside an intestine. So longer the meat sits inside, obviously you know that it takes 2 to 3 days for anything to get processed inside our intestine. If it is meat, it will take 2 to 3 days. If it is vegetables, especially uncooked vegetables, it will take 5 to 6 hours or 8 hours. So you'll eat vegetables, it will go out of your system, which means your system have to work less, which means less work for the system means a healthy system.
Yeah.
More work, overload for the system, it's toxic.
Yeah.
I have friends who've been suggested by their own doctor to go vegetarian because they had some cancer cells which were found in their body.
Yeah.
So the doctor suggested them to go vegetarian. They said, oh, stop eating meat. So nowadays doctors are suggesting to eat to go on a vegetarian diet.
Yeah.
And I've been vegetarian whole my life, no egg, no seafood, no meat, nothing.
Yep.
And if you talk about endurance, if you talk about weight training, I can compete with anyone. It's just all misconception.
Yeah, it's
I
just a
can
myth.
get my protein from other stuff.
Yeah.
There's so many things you can get your protein from.
There's vegan bodybuilders out there.
There are vegan yes, we have vegan bodybuilders out there who don't even, eat, drink milk or anything. And you see them, you see their performance, you see their body, it's just next level, right? So if you have a misconception that if you'll not eat meat, you'll become weak, you won't get size. It's all misconception. You can get size. It's what you eat, the right amount, how you train, how much you rest. Okay, so body is not built in the gym. Body is built by bringing discipline in your food, in your sleeping, and your recovery. That's how you build body. So coming back to meditation, so you felt a shift when you quit eating meat and you started practicing meditation. So when we say meditation, what kind of meditation do you do?
Well, I first started out with doing, like the normal focusing, bringing your focus on your breath. And I think I started that for about, how long did I do that for? I think it was about 3 or 4 months before I ended up getting into more extensive things like, reciting mantras and all that. So going from that to mantras was definitely an interesting shift in experience.
So when you say mantras, right? So what kind of mantras do you recite?
Depends. It's like on the specific deity. So you've got your Shiva mantra, which is Om Namah Shivaya, Kali mantra, Om Krim Kalikaya Namaha, and there's like 3 or 4 other ones that I do.
So when you say that you recite mantra for specific deities, whether it is Shiva, whether it is Kali, whether it is Bhairav, or Ganesha, right?
Yeah.
So do you feel that you are converted?
No, I don't. But I don't feel like there's any sort of conversion in there. No.
Yeah, there is no conversion, right?
No. It honestly,
do you think like that to achieve a result out of it, you have to convert into a Hindu, or how does it work?
Look, if anyone actually asks me if I'm part of a religion, I just say no.
Yes. So you are an atheist, right? You're non-religious.
Yeah,
basically,
exactly.
You're non-religious. You believe in something, but you're non-religious, right?
Exactly.
So you were born Christian?
Actually, no.
So you were born?
I was born pretty much
an atheist.
Essentially.
Okay. So you were born as a non-believer.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So
although it was, even during my childhood, I actually grew up with certain experiences that kind of make you, you have the odd experience that happens on the occasion where it's like a bit interesting that kind of happened.
Yeah.
I used to see sort of shadows, and like something.
So that is something which is extra. They call it extraterrestrial thing, experience, or outer body experience, or different parallel world experience, right? Different dimensional experience.
Yep.
That can happen to anyone, right?
Yeah,
literally.
Right. Anyone can experience it.
Anyone.
But it's more of the fact that I think that these kind of things happen to people, but I think a lot of people shift them off as just, it's just part of your mind. And I do believe that. Because I talk to people about it and they say they've had experiences with this, they've had experience with that. So it's like, I know that people have these experiences. It's like a doorway. It's like that thing that opens up and then it goes like that. And then it happens again, and then you'll be kind of like, okay, that was interesting. And then it will it could happen 3, 4, 5 months down the track and it happens again and you're like, that was interesting. And I think it's like, if you think on it more and more and you start to question it, I think more things start to open up and it starts to happen.
So do you think that because you had that experience in your previous, when you were young, you had experienced all those different entities and all that kind of stuff, do you think that when you started reciting mantras specific to a specific deity, how did it change you? Did it give you more security around that, or did it give you more freedom? How did it change your entire thinking process and the way you see things now?
I guess it sort of changed it in the way that it's just like, it's cool to know that there's something more out there, you know, it's just like this. I always kind of knew that there was sort of something that was, I always had my, you know, what do you call it, you know, my beliefs, and I just couldn't really kind of like put a, you know, a nail onto what exactly it is. But I think it definitely makes you feel a lot more, you know, it's like there is something else out there, but we just don't know about it, you know, or a lot of people just don't know about it. And I think it sort of changes your perspective in the sense that it's just, you know, it changes for the positive, because it's just like, you know that you're now part of something a lot bigger, and so is everyone else around you, and it's sort of just like, nothing else really matters at the end of the day. Like, yeah, it's like this material life is just like, it's like a speck.
Yes, it's more like it's a distraction, right? From something which is much bigger than that. So how do you see in the Hindu deities in that aspect? Do you feel like how people portray Hindu deities, like, oh, why Kali? Oh, Kali look like this, or that Shiva look like that, or he's got a snake in his neck. How do you see? How do you feel that perspective after practicing their mantras?
Well, likewise, I think everyone has their sort of their own opinions, their own sort of, you know, backgrounds. Obviously, if you show a Christian, you know, Shiva or Kali, they're going to say that's the devil. Yeah. Which is just like, fair enough. In terms of myself, I never actually knew any of these deities, to be honest. I never actually practiced. Like,
obviously, you never came across with.
I only knew about Buddhism, and that was about it. And even then, I still didn't know what the deities or gods that they would pray to. So when I came into this, it was just kind of like, this is all completely new to me. And funnily enough, it made the most sense to me out of anything, in terms of the practices and everything. And
yeah. So technically speaking, they are not just religious faith.
Yeah.
They that is something.
Yeah.
Which helps you to achieve something.
Yeah.
You know, and so what is your experience when you said Shiva? Have you experienced something when you recited? So when you recited the mantra, right? How does it affect in your body? Do you feel any physical effect in your body?
Yeah, definitely. I actually feel like the actual vibrations, and people will probably think that, you know, it might be part of your head, but you do feel the vibrations a lot differently when you actually do mantras. And I definitely noticed that you go into a lot more deeper state, funnily enough, when you actually do recite mantras. It's like they kind of like, when you do focus, it's sort of like, you can only go so far. And like, even with, you know, focusing, you can still have really great experiences. But mantras just enhance the experience to something level. It's like taking steroids.
Yeah, basically. So as I said that there are various ways in Sanatam Dharam, which is practically where I belong from. Hinduism is just a word, as I said, it's a demographic word, but real me, where I come from, is Sanatam Dharam, which means universal law. Now, in Sanatam Dharam, it is written that if you can call it higher consciousness or heaven, you can enter the higher consciousness by various means. You don't have to be a believer. If you do good karmas, you can still get there.
Yeah.
Right? By practicing certain yoga mudras.
Yeah.
Right? So there are certain yoga mudras where you can sit and you can bring your focus, change your breath, eating balanced diet. You can still reach that highest conscious state. Using deities.
Yeah.
Right? Again, they are deities, they are not God.
Yeah.
Right? People misunderstand it. Deity, they are higher beings who can help us to go to the main destination.
Yeah.
Right? So they are designed for mankind to do things. It's like Superman,
Yeah.
higher being.
Yeah, that's
He
right.
can fly, he can fight, he can protect mankind.
Yeah.
But would you call him God? No, he's not God.
Yeah.
He just have extra abilities. So when we talk about Shiva, when we talk about Durga, when we talk about Kali, they're not hypothetical. No. They're higher beings of a different realms. They have their own planets.
Yeah.
They sit in those planets. When we use their statues, so it's when we go to the temple and we pray to a statue, we are not doing hocus pocus there. The problem is that we don't know what we are actually doing.
Yeah.
We don't know the whole process of how we do it.
Yeah.
And what is the step-by-step process. If you follow the step-by-step process, you will see things which you will not be able to believe or convince yourself that what is this happening to me? Is it real? Everything is real, right? So in Sanatan Dharam, they have written books on how to achieve the higher consciousness, not just by one thing. Oh, if you don't believe, you'll go to hell. You'll burn in hellfire. It's nothing to do with it. They have said if your karma is good,
Yeah.
you'll still go there even if you're a disbeliever. So your karma matters,
Yeah.
right? And then rest are your practices.
Yeah.
It's all about raising your energy,
Yeah.
right? Because this body, this is a vessel, and
Yeah.
then it is run by energy. That energy we call either soul, spirit, whatever you want to call it. It is an energy. You have to raise that energy to go to the higher dimension.
Yeah.
It's very basic science.
Yeah.
So when you recite a mantra, sitting, and you can't just walk and keep on reciting mantras, that's not how you recite it. It has a proper procedure, right? So when you follow proper procedure, you do everything right. Within 3 days, you will start seeing the experience. How long did it took you to experience mantra?
There was the Kali mantra took me about 3 or 4 days until I actually experienced something. Some have taken me 5 to 6 days, sometimes a week to eventually actually like feel something.
So 3 to 5 days to 6 days, right? There are people back in India who go to the temple every day, but they have never experienced it. You know why? Because they don't know the whole procedure. They don't know the proper step-by-step process. If you follow the step-by-step process, 3 days to 5 days is maximum.
Yep.
You will experience something, right? And which is not that you are dreaming or something.
It's
It
happening.
is happening with you.
Yeah,
You
while
will
you're
experience it, right? Because it's not hocus pocus, it's basic science. Those are higher beings, superior higher beings. There's a proper process in setting up a communication with them. You set up a communication, they'll come and they'll communicate.
Yeah.
It's very easy. Okay. So coming back to the point of meditation,
Yeah.
you said that you quit non-veg.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
Is it necessary for you to quit non-veg?
Yeah.
Could you still have continued?
I feel like it might have been a bit of a different experience because meat definitely does have an impact on your body and the way you sort of bring your focus. Because when you eat vegetables, it's kind of a lot more. It sits better in your stomach, and it's kind of like your body absorbs it a lot better. And I think
and then
it's something that
energy which you use to digest it, and when you release it, you lose minimum energy.
yeah,
Right? Because it's all about energy, right? So you have to generate energy to eat food.
yeah,
You have to generate energy to digest food. You have to generate energy when you excrete it from your body. Now that's why in India, a lot of monks who go to do a hardcore meditational state in Himalayas and all, they quit eating food. They practice certain mudras where they'll eat one fruit a day,
yeah,
and then they will not require any food or any drink. Why? Because they generate energy and then they are urinating or they are excreting those things. They lose energy through it. So they do certain practices where they generate energy but they don't lose it,
yeah.
right? Because it's all energy game.